Everybody says you should be using a driver off the tee, but what if that is actually costing you shots? So in today's video, I'm going to put up the Cobra OPTM driver up against the new King Tech mini driver from Cobra. A head-to-head battle to see the real differences between a traditional driver and a mini driver. And by the end of the video, you might seriously question what belongs in your golf bag. Okay, so we've got the standard Cobra OPTM X Driver, 9-degree head, 45.5 inches, which is Cobra standard in their length of driver. And I'm going to put that up against the new King Tech mini driver. So 43.75 inches of length, smaller compact head in comparison to the driver. And we're going to see what the differences are. So let's talk a little bit about the mini driver to start off with. So it's the King Tech is what we're calling it, mini driver. We've got a 303cc size head. So traditional driver is going to be 460cc, can't go any bigger than that. This is 303. And to give you a little bit of an idea, a fairway wood is typically around that 180cc. So it sits sort of right in between the two golf clubs from a 3-wood to a driver. We then see this coming in at 13.5 degrees of loft. So there's only one loft option, but you have got Cobra's future 33 fitting system in terms of that neck sleeve. Tons of options. You can go up and down by up to 2 degrees, as well as a load of different lie angles as well. So that can obviously come down to 11.5, can also go up to a 15.5 as well. So depending on what you're really wanting it to do. On the bottom of the golf club, we've got two weights. We've got a 12 gram weight, we've got a 2 gram weight. I've got this set with the 12 forward. I'm going to test this off the tee to start off with, but I will hit some off the fairway as well to see if this might be a fairway wood replacement for you guys out there. Okay, so as always, into that playing position, and obviously we've got a very Cobra looking golf club, very similar to what we see with the driver. Obviously it's a lot smaller, 303cc, see a lot more loft, as you can appreciate, 13.5. So I think that instantly is probably a confident, inspiring thing, seeing some loft on the golf club for a lot of golfers. And then we've got the length of the shaft. So this is 43.75 inches in length, 45.5 standard on the driver, and the standard on a fairway wood is 43.25. So this is half an inch longer than a 3-wood length. So it's in that more controllable feel, I think, for a lot of golfers. You know, slightly shorter shaft, seeing some loft, but you've still got a relatively large club head in comparison to obviously a 3-wood. So I think that's a really good mix of giving somebody some confidence maybe off the tee. Oh, that's bullet straight to start off with. A little bit low in the face, I'm not really picky, but I'll take that all day long. Solid feel to that, really good solid sound to that as well. And that carried out 242, running off about that sort of 259 area. So as I mentioned, maybe many golfers will struggle with that long length of a driver. So sometimes that loft, a little bit of length of shaft just helps with that sort of control. And what I'm going to really sort of look at between the two in this particular video is just the differences of maybe control, dispersion, and also look at a little bit of distance as well, because I think sometimes as golfers build a little bit of confidence in this shorter, more lofted club, as we mentioned, typically they get a strike a little bit better. And when we see a better strike, we tend to see more ball speed. So sometimes that difference of distance isn't actually that much, but sometimes we see a lot more accuracy with the mini, which is why they've been very sort of popular. That's a better strike. That's a great flight. That felt superb off the club face. Great sound to that as well. Obviously, better strike there. You can see that carry distance gone up. Ball speed's a little bit quicker. Launch was better because it was a little bit higher up in that club face. 255 carry, nice. So the mini driver actually pairs with any of the Cobra standard 3-wood length shafts. Now, obviously it plays half inch longer, and that's purely because the depth from the bottom of the head to the hosel there in comparison to a 3-wood is a little bit longer, which makes it play that half inch longer than that fairway wood standard. So that's where it comes from. But ultimately, if you've got a 3-wood with a Cobra Future 33 neck sleeve on, then this will work into your mini. It'll fit in there and work perfectly well. Oh, again, a little bit low on the face. But instantly there, in those 3 shots, 3 different sort of strikes there. See, that one spun up a lot more. That was really off the bottom. But again, I'm on that fairway, and that's a really good thing there that you're going to see. I mean, that was a very sort of nice flight. I saw that, even though it was a touch low in the club face. Now, obviously, these two weighted screws on the bottom can be flipped around. So if you wanted a little bit more launch, a little bit more spin, then that 12 gram weight can obviously move to the back, and the two can move forward. Again, you've also got the option of adding loft in the neck sleeve. So there is a ton of adjustability. Again, that is arrow straight. So clearly we're not probably going to see as much club head speed with the shorter shaft. So we're going to lose some speed. I understand that. We're probably going to lose some ball speed because we lose club head speed, but we've also got a little bit more loft. But on the flip side of it, it's a trade-off. You're going to get that control. And I think maybe for certain golfers as well, they're quite happy just to give up a little bit of distance. And if they can find more of that short stuff of the fairway, then that is a lot of the time a big gain. Oh, it's a super strike, just a touch pulled. Yeah, I did feel like I moved that a little bit quicker there. Club head speed 107. Just found that bunk. That's my first sort of stray one with the Mini. Didn't really hook, it was just a straight flight, but just pulled slightly. So tech-wise on the head, we're pretty much seeing everything we're going to get with the driver. We've got the titanium head, we've got the carbon crown, we've got that sort of power shell, hot face technology, everything we're sort of seeing. So we're not sacrificing any technology in the Mini driver against the actual traditional driver. Oh, that's a good strike. Right, like that. Really like the feel of that. I really like the flight of that as well, to be honest. Definitely confident spine as you're sort of stood there, seeing some loft, slightly shorter shaft. You feel like you're in a little bit more control. Right, I'm going to hit some quickly a batch of shots with the traditional driver, the Cobra X, normal length, 9 degree, that I would sort of play. We'll have a little bit of a comparison. And then after that, we'll just hit some from the ground to see how this is picking it up from a tightish lie that I have here on the mat. Right, okay, so bringing the driver back into play here now, and straight away, head looks huge and it feels very long in the shaft, which is, you know, it is a lot longer, as you can probably see there, than the Mini driver. So 45.5 is Cobra's standard as length. Obviously, you don't have to have it that length, so in a fitting, you could have that shorter, nearer towards a Mini length in a driver. Again, obviously, it's swing weighted correctly if you're going to do that. But there is that option as well. So if you prefer that bigger head of a normal driver, but maybe just a little bit shorter in the shaft, again, that is an option. Okay, so there's 5 shots hit with the driver. And that was a nice long one. That got over 305. So I think straight away there, when you just look at dispersion, I hit one real weak one to the right there with the drivers that you can sort of see is the short right one. The other 4 I hit were pretty good, to be fair. So yeah, definitely a difference of distance. Now, not all golfers see that. So as I mentioned before, it depends on the individual. And this is obviously my testing to give you a little bit of an idea, but you've got to go and hit this yourself. And if you really struggle with the driver, sometimes we see golfers have a huge success with the Mini, again, because of that loft and that length. So the distance between the two actually isn't that bad, because the driver they really struggle with, it tends to be short, spinny, lose it offline a little bit more. Mini tends to be a little bit more better on the strike. Ball speed goes up, so that really bridges the gap between the two. Obviously, the length of the shafts, the club head speed, ball speed differences actually then bridge quite close together. Now, all those shots were obviously off a tee, and certain golfers will buy that as a driver replacement. But also, many golfers use this not only off the tee, but also from the fairway. Now, bear in mind, this is a 303cc. A typical 3-wood would be about that 180cc mark. So the depth of the driver face on the Mini is obviously a little bit deeper than we see on a fairway wood. Now, for me, that I would say that makes it a little bit harder to launch, certain golfers, obviously. So as I put that down by the golf ball there, it looks like I'm hitting a driver from the ground. Okay, now if you're really confident with hitting a fairway wood, then this will probably work quite nicely. If you struggle with that 3-wood from the ground, which a lot of amateur golfers do, this could be a little bit tougher, because number one, you've got less loft, number two, you've got deeper club face. So typically then you're going to need a little bit of speed to get that ball launched. But let's try a couple off this ground. Okay, so straight away there, I've hit that really low on the face. It's come out low, it's come out straight, but I have got a little bit of speed. So if somebody hasn't got as much speed and hit that particular strike, it might just drop out of the sky and really struggle to actually get flighted. And that's probably my only concern maybe for certain golfers. And that's a better strike. Still a little bit low, I can feel that. That's spun a little bit more as well. But again, it's nice and straight. So if you can get the strike from this and you feel confident doing that, this could give you an option of maybe just reaching that par 5 in 2 potentially. That might just be a bit too far out for your actual 3-wood itself. So I understand this could bring in a couple of options out on the golf course. Ooh, it's pulled a fraction. Again, the flight's pretty good. Just all of them feel really quite low in the face, which is a bit of my miss, to be honest. But again, I think with that deeper face, it's going to be hard unless the ball's on a little bit of a tuft or it's a bit softer underneath the golf ball in the ground conditions that you're typically going to hit it a touch low in the club face. Okay, there we go. King Tech mini driver against a traditional driver length. Post comments down below, let me know thoughts. Have you got a mini driver? Is that a bit of a game changer for you? Do you use it off the tee primarily, or is it a little bit of both, or maybe more from the fairway? I'd love to hear your thoughts as always. Appreciate you watching the video. If you haven't subscribed and you're enjoying the content, I really appreciate if you could just hit that subscribe button. It helps me out, and hopefully we'll catch up with you all very soon.